When Michaela Pelta was in high school in San Francisco, she served as a Jewish student union rep for the West Coast.
I have just seen that if I'm not going to do it, no one else is going to do it.
Her great-grandmother on one side and grandfather on the other are both Holocaust survivors.
I was so quiet about my Jewish identity for so many years of my life.
In the summer of 2020, she began hearing from Jewish students that they were seeing anti-Semitic posts on social media. For example, comparing Jews to apes.
And it made us think that, anti-Semitism didn't just form within a month or two. A lot of our peers were harboring these views and kind of waited until they wouldn't be confronted by us in the hallways or have to, face a Jewish student the next day to then express that.
A lot of ideas that were so sedimented into the foundations of our culture that they just return and return and return.
David Livingston Smith is a professor of philosophy at the University of New England. He says education around anti-Semitism is inadequate, and there also isn't nearly enough education around anti-Black racism or the genocide of indigenous people.
You have to understand the ideological and political and social influences that are ginning people up to think of other people as less than human.
Livingston Smith is the author of Making Monsters, The Uncanny Power of Dehumanization. We spoke soon after a white supremacist murdered 10 people at a supermarket in Buffalo. The suspect said he chose Buffalo because it was the city with the highest number of Black people nearby. The suspect was also inspired by what's known as the Great Replacement Theory.
Great Replacement Theory is an idea which is current in white supremacist circles, has been promoted on Fox by Tucker Carlson, that there's a kind of plot to replace white people with people of color. And guess who's the mastermind behind that plot? Jewish people.
Education is important for helping students recognize anti-Semitism so that they can call it out. Hashim Davis is a high school teacher in Virginia. He says people ask him a lot about why, as an African-American man, he's so focused on teaching about the Holocaust.
It's really about an examination of humanity, or man's lack of humanity. What will happen in these moments?
Davis grew up in New York and remembers trips to the city's five and dime store. The owner was a curmudgeon, mean as heck. But years later, after visiting the Virginia Holocaust Museum as an undergrad, he thought again to that man and one particular trip to his store.
We go to the store and I want to buy this particular action figure. And he had short sleeve shirt on. He had the button collar, but it was short sleeve. And I noticed that he had some writing on his arm. Well, it took me years to realize, he was a survivor. So I just thought it was a moment of serendipity that I would find myself coming back to it.
Now Davis has dedicated his professional and academic life to studying and teaching about the Holocaust. His students meet with survivors, and he tells his students about how the Nazis were influenced by Jim Crow laws in America. And he says they're godsmacked. The history of the Holocaust is bleak but important.
Everyone always says, oh no, if it were me, I would have done this, I would have done that, I would have helped them. Yeah, that sounds cool, but the statistics would say that didn't happen. In fact, more people turned away and more people didn't do anything than the opposite.
As a Holocaust educator, Davis wants students to expand their definition of what anti-Semitism is, to understand it's a hatred connected to other hatreds. For Philosophy Talk, I'm Holly Jim Teed.